What's up, everybody, and thank you for listening to Mastering the Mindset. My name is Dariusdotch, and I'm an actor, hip-hop artist, and fitness and life coach. And I'm here to personally help you train and improve your mindset so that you can, 1, become the best version of yourself mentally, and 2, gain focus and motivation to be able to take action and achieve the success in life that you want and deserve. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to my channel, and at the end of this episode, if you liked it, please share it with a friend or a loved one or someone who would benefit from hearing this message. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm ready to go on this journey with you, and that journey begins now. What up? All right. Welcome back to another episode. Now, before I get started with this episode, let me just give you a reminder. I know I said this a few weeks ago that I will be dropping my new single, Lean on Me, on June 16th. My latest single that will be dropping the same day I go to perform my music in St. Cloud as part of the Juneteenth celebration. But again, I will be dropping my newest single, Lean on Me, featuring Dre Hall, on June 16th. And because you are loyal listeners, I'm going to drop it on here first, only on here first, next week. I'm going to do that on the 14th. So if you tune in on the 14th, it'll just be the song. It won't be any, won't be a podcast episode, just a song, just for you to hear first, because I appreciate y'all. Now, let's go ahead and dive into this episode. Today, we're going to talk about the contrast of the human experience of life. And we're going to talk about how we need to make sure that we're not going through life in this mediocre, so-so area, the middle of the spectrum energy in any aspect of our lives. And I'm going to tell you what I mean in a moment. But I want to talk about this podcast I was listening to the other day. It was an interview between Ed Milet, who is a life coach who I follow a lot, talk about him a lot on here, and this dude by the name of Colin O'Brady. And Colin O'Brady is a very strong person, and not talking about muscles, but mentally. Well, actually, he is physically strong. He's done a lot of physical challenges. He broke all kind of world records and stuff. But the thing that's most fascinating about him, or to me, is that he is the first man to trek across Antarctica. And when I say trek, I mean trek. He did this unassisted, meaning he didn't have no vehicle, no dogs, no snowmobile. He packed up all his food and supplies for about 60 days, and he pushed his own sled across the Antarctica. Can you imagine? Not only the physical challenges from having to push a sled and being out in that extreme cold weather, doing something that your body has never done, that nobody has ever done, not just your body, but anybody. And on top of that, the mental challenge, being alone for 60 days, having to keep yourself in the right mind space to want to continue, to stay in the game, to stay consistent at doing something that you don't even know if you can do, that you don't even know if you'll survive. That took a really strong mental effort to do, 60 days. And it made me think about me and my physical journey. And one of the things I've been doing lately, as of the last couple of years, since the pandemic, is I've been running outside a lot. Like, it's part of my workout plan. I try and go to the gym 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And on Tuesdays, I go for a run around the lake. And look, if you knew the old me, the way I hated running, like it was never an option. That long distance running, no. My lower back always get tight. It feel like it takes too long. Depending on where you're running, the ground might not be as absorbent enough, so you get shin splints and your shins start to hurt, and it just feel like it never ends. And before, I would only run like a mile and I'd be done. I'd be done with it. Now, I'm running about 2 miles each time. The lake by my house is about 1.8 miles, and let me just say, the lower back pain still there. My muscles still get tight. My lungs hurt because I'm tired as hell. And I have a few hills to run up, which makes it even harder. And it never really gets easier. Well, let me just say, it's never easy. It does get easier sometimes, but it's never easy. It's always hard. And every single time I get to a certain point around the lake and my mind wants to stop, and it makes my body hurt even more. And I think how if I just stop for 5 seconds, just 5 seconds, it ain't that big of a deal. It ain't that big of a difference to your workout. It's just 5 seconds. And every single time I have to dig deep. I have to remind myself that, hey, you've done this before, that it's moments like this that's going to help me achieve my goals in life. Because if I decided to stop every single time something get hard, how in the hell will I ever do it on a larger scale with something that's truly important? with a challenge that's way tougher than this, right? At least this challenge is self-inflicted. I chose to come out here and run. But what's going to happen if I'm just living my life, trying to build the life I want, and things happen that's not in my control? What am I going to do then? And I have to dig deep mentally to just keep running, right? To just keep running. And I think to myself that if I just keep putting one foot out in front of the other, eventually I'll get there. Just one after another. And what I do is I count each step. When it get real hard, on those really, really tough days, I count each step to 10. I break it down every 10 strides. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom. And I keep going. I keep breaking it down mentally into 10 stride chunks. And I don't stop running. I just keep counting to 10. And by doing this way, it makes me have to only pay attention to what's going on in front of me. I'm not looking at how far I got to go to make it all the way around. I'm not thinking about where I am compared to where I have to get to. Only the next 10 steps in front of me. And this applies to several areas of life, right? I talk about that a lot on here all the time, breaking your goals down or breaking your tasks down into smaller, more manageable steps. And hearing Colin O'Brady talk about it, it really reminded me that it's important to be able to tap into your mental capability. And what he was talking about was if you think about your life and every aspect and every area of your life on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst, right? So your health, your relationships, your business, your career, whatever it may be. He says, if you don't have any 1s in any aspect of your life, you can't ever have 10s. But we're so afraid of the 1s that we live in the 5s every single day. We live in the 5s, nice, comfortable, content 5s. And look, I don't know about you, but I am not interested in no way, no how, in no 5s for my whole life. That's lukewarm. And we choose to live in the 5s because we're afraid of the 1s, even when the 1s don't necessarily mean that it's a devastating blow. The 1s, for one, like motivation, the 1s, those lows, they're always fleeting, right? But we're still afraid of it. We can be too afraid to just call our shot and go after something because we're afraid, and we build up this story in our head that we could potentially, quote unquote, fail. And when we fail, that is going to be a 1. Because what we do is when we fail at something, we make it mean that we suck. We make it mean that everybody's judging us. We make it mean that we're not capable, that we're not worthy. We make it a conditional thing like we are a failure. But the reality of it is those 1s are fleeting. They don't last forever. You got to have the option and the experiences of having to fail or misstep so you can have the opportunities to bounce back and get to a 10. Because we know life can deal you 1s. It's not even something that you have to do with yourself sometimes. 1s get dealt to you every now and then. And you may not believe that everything happens for a reason. I personally do. But one thing I think we can all agree on is that no matter what happens, we have the option of creating the meaning behind it. We get to determine the meaning out of any experience that happens to us. And we really do. As humans, we are meaning-creating beings. We create meaning out of everything. We do it all the time. Any event can be a neutral event, and we can create the meaning behind it. That meaning can be that you're a failure, that you suck, that you're always meant to mess up, or you can change it around and make it mean something else, that you're learning, that you're going to get better, that you're working, that you're striving towards better. What's up? I want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for listening to this episode, and to also let you know that this podcast is 100% donation driven, which means it's completely funded by you, the listener. So if you like the content I have to offer, I would love it if you can make a donation and you get to pick the amount. I left links in the description of the video as well as my homepage. You can choose which way benefits you the best to donate. And if you need more options, please feel free to email me at dariusdotch@gmail.com. That's dariusdotch@gmail.com. Again, thank you so much for being here, and let's get back to it. And what I want you to take away from this episode is, one of the things is that if you're in a 1 season right now, or if you're having a 1 moment at some point in your day or some point in the future, recognize that this is a requirement to have the contrast of that 10. That when you look back to where you used to be, When you have those moments of reflection, when you overcome something, that high, that contrast is so much more enjoyable. It's higher than it would be if you never got so low. Maybe you're dealing with death. Maybe you're dealing with a financial hardship. Maybe you're dealing with a relationship that changed, right? Or love challenges. Your career might be in a dark place. Just remember that this is temporary, that it's going to take some mental strength to get you through it, that no matter what, you can always lean on yourself, even when you don't think you can make it. You know that you have been through some hard times, some dark times, and you made it through that. And more than likely, you might not have even been focusing on using it to strengthen you. It just made you stronger. You look back and say, damn, I done came a long way. Damn, I don't know how I got through that. Damn, I'm a better person because I went through that. Now imagine how it's going to feel if you make a decision, a conscious decision, to actively work on yourself during these moments, to allow it to strengthen you mentally, to push through it. Even when nobody else knows what your struggle is. Nobody knows your struggle, right? So when you make it to the top, when you make it through to the other side, you're going to be at that 10. And I don't ever wish a 1 on anybody. But there is a power in recognizing when you're in a 1 moment or a 1 season, understanding that you will get out of it. It might not feel like you will, but you will. And you will get a 10. And if you change your perspective while you're going through it, that 10 is going to be so much higher because there's always things you can learn from the 1s. Life deals you 1s. Sometimes you have to actually allow yourself the opportunity to potentially get a 1. And that means calling your shot, doing something whether you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Maybe you're afraid of failure, which probably means you're afraid of people watching you fail, thinking that it's going to mean something about you or that the way they think about you will change. But if you ain't willing to risk having a 1, then you're going to risk going through life living at a 5. And we pretend like we're okay with that, right? But I know you ain't okay with that because you don't listen to a podcast called Mastering the Mindset if you feel like, I'm good. I think I want to just live at a 5. This is nice. I'm okay having a so-so marriage, a so-so health, kind of, sort of going after a dream, but only when it's convenient, when I feel like it. Right? Now, look, I'm not trying to tell you that you have to have this huge fire lit inside you and you need to be this productive machine and just get it done every single day of your life. That's not realistic. That's not what life is about. Life is about the contrast. And if you have some areas in your life that you don't feel good about that are the 5s, any day can be the day you decide to do something about it. You can change things. You can change things. You don't have to wait till the new year or a next big birthday, right? If you recognize that the 1s are required to get to the 10s and that the journey you're on ain't this smooth ride with no bumps, that it's actually a roller coaster, and you can get to a place mentally where you just buckle up and you embrace the ride. If you're so terrified of having a 1, you will never risk anything. You'll never put yourself out there. You'll never ask that person out on a date. You'll never buy that plane ticket to go to that place, to be in the room with those people. You'll never actually try and grow that business. You'll never make that investment on yourself. You'll never find a better career. You won't get to have the full experience of life. And who wants to get to the end of it all, however long we have, and be like, well, I never got close to my dreams. I never got to experience what I truly wanted. But hey, I didn't feel any pain. I didn't fail. No, you want to get there and be like, woo, now that was a ride. I really did all that. I really made it through that. And I had some amazing moments. That was a hell of a ride. I showed up for myself and I did it. So if you're in that 1 season, maybe you just have to look down and take it 10 steps at a time, 1 step at a time. Just put 1 foot in front of the other and worry about that next step, the most important one. You can't make it to the top without taking that next step in front of you. You can't skip the steps. You can't. To get to wherever you're going, if you're at that 1, to get away from that 1, you're going to have to take those steps. So why not take them in the best way possible? On to the next, on to the next. We can't focus on the steps way down the road. Whatever season that may be headed our way, that incline, that cliff, what if you just focused on what's right in front of us? Don't be focused on the fear of a 1 that's always fleeting anyway. Stop living in the 5s. I want better for you and I want better for us. So let's get it in. So that's what I got for you today. If you like this episode, please share it with somebody that can benefit from this, somebody who is a friend or a family member, somebody who has goals and is trying to improve their lives. So thank you again, and let's get it in.